What's up, y'all? This is Chris again. So I got a little story, a backstory about the Corolla and how it became, what made me choose the Corolla, how it all started, what made me fuel to work on it so many years to get it to where it's at today without, a lot of, there's failures in the story, but I mean a lot of failures in the process, but how it is today that's holding up so well. Well, my mom used to drive a Corolla, and we drove it to school. So we beat on that car all the time. She had a 93 baby blue Corolla, and we beat on that car. We thought it was the fastest thing in the world, because it was like the first car we drove. And up the block, we had a bunch of Chicos who had those cars, 86 Corollas, Starlets. They had a lot of old cars. The Celica Supra, all of them had 2Js and all that. So I was inspired to just get my own Corolla. So when I was old enough, I got my first Corolla. It was a black Toyota Corolla, 93, 7A FE. And I've hooked it up, put headers, exhaust, intake, the basic mods that everyone does with their cars. It was automatic, and I thought it was fast. I was like, yeah, I'm fast. So my friends were like, they had the little single cam Civics manual, little hatchbacks, and I was keeping up with them. Sometimes I beat them on the top end. They were little 1.6s. So I thought I was okay to go to the race spot. So I'd go to the race spot every weekend down in Miami, Black Point Marina, and I was always getting my butt kicked, man. Those B series were killing me all the time, man. Left and right. They were just, everyone would laugh at me. People had the B16 and the GSR swaps. I just couldn't keep up. And there was this one night I came back out, and I heard people saying, man, get that piece of out of there. This man's trying to be somebody. And those words still stick with me today. When someone said he's trying to be somebody, look at him, he's slow trying to be somebody. That was what turned me into somebody else. That was the fuel for my trip and passion and how I say it was the fuel for basically my whole journey with the 7A, FE as a start. So as the years go, I converted to a manual, and I started bumping the timing in the motor, messing with parts here, figure out other stuff, take the speedometer, governor off, the speedometer out, so I can go more speeds, and figuring out how the motor reacted, how to make it breathe better, swapping throttle bodies from other motors. And then I was like, what? I still was hitting a bottleneck. I was beating other cars. And that's when I kind of ran into a 4AG, and I was like, 4AG, and I was racing some of these cars with 4AGs, and yeah, I beat a lot of them. So I was like, 4AG, I don't really need it, I need something else. But when I started running into problems at the time, there was no cams for the 7A, there was no support at all, just basic bolt-ons. So I was like, crap, I gotta just take this motor. And the Chicos were like, yo, you can put that head on here. They like, oh, okay. So they kind of taught me what I can do with the car. So over the years, back in the early days when I was young, I'm gonna swap the head. Found some problems here and there. Car didn't run right, car ran good, just didn't have no top end power. Over the years, you figure out the timing's off, all that other yada yada yada. But in the process, before I even decided to put the head, I had swapped 4AGs, and I blew up a lot of 4AGs. I'm talking about bearing problem after bearing after bearing, which is always a bearing issue with that bottom end. So I was like, there's something with this motor. It just keeps spinning bearings. And if any of you all know, you always spin a bearing after throttle, after you let off the accelerator. And that's another story for another video about bearing the oil flow. So I'm gonna skip that for another video. But I blew up so many 4AGs in the process, and I kept mentally logging everything down, like everything I could possibly think of with that motor. I logged it down. What was going wrong? How can I fix this? How can I slow that down? Because I was starting to see things here and there. But over the times, I was like, I'm just gonna go back to the 7A bottom end, which I knew better because I've dealt with it for so long, which is pretty much a stroked 4AG anyhow. But I know the characteristics of the 7A motor because of how I drove it for the year, so it gave me an idea of the characteristics of the bottom end. So over the years, like I said, when I went to 7AG, those words always stayed in my head, and the mockery and the people poking fun of me at the times I had my 7A. I remember times when I was just 7A FE all motor. I was in Miami. People would be like, yo, pull up to me out of nowhere at a light. Yo, get rid of that piece of junk. Your car's slow. They would be like, get a real car. Get a Honda. So that was another thing that just fueled me to anger. And I love Hondas. I'm like a Honda guy at heart too. So, but at the time I wasn't. I was only a Toyota guy because I only knew Toyotas. So, other times people pull up to me and laugh at me. Your car's slow. You know, get a, more same thing. Get a Honda. But nothing fueled me as much as that one dude at the racetrack that said, you know, you ain't nothing, basically. The way he said it was like, you know, this guy's trying to be somebody. That's the line that still sticks with me today. And as I kept building those motors and building my own in the process, it got stronger and stronger. Yeah, I broke parts, and over time I logged it down, improved on them. I still broke it even till this day. 3 months ago, I still broke my 7AG. I sheared all the flywheel bolts, believe it or not. Yeah. Yeah, so that's something I'm working on right now. So, moral of the story, that fueled me for years to build this car and focus less on the details and the paint job and more on the performance of the car. And over the years, I found myself, it was, at first people were racing me, and then the word got around and people stopped racing me, and some people, you know, stopped racing me at the time. Now people are more willing to race me because now everyone's kind of boosted in these days, so it's not as bad. But there's times where I'm in traffic and a muscle car would come up to me, or other turbo cars, and they would slow down, or other all-motor cars would look like they're trying to race me, but then when they smell the E85 coming out the back of the exhaust, or they hear how the car idles, they back off and they don't want to race me, which I'm trying to race them, but they don't. Other times they will be curious, so they'll drive a little bit on the side of me and move forward, and you can see their head looking toward my front end to see if I have an intercooler, and then they'll back off. So now it's obviously the opposite now. Now no one's mocking me, no one's poking fun of me, no one's telling me to get a real car. I mean, I have raced a lot of people, and I don't really post many videos. Everyone's like, you don't have to post your videos. I really don't. I just have tons of stories up here of racing and how dumbfounded people looked when they've got smoked by like 30 cars, or even 15, 20, even supercharged cars. They're like, what the hell? Like, they're shocked this little four banger, you know, caught up to them third gear and passed them. But I had my losses too, you know, high powered V8s and 240s, you know, RB26s and 240s making like 870. Well, I have my whoopings too, but the story, like I said, was about the Corollas because of what I heard and how I was mocked for so many years, and that one line stuck with me for years, and that was, look at this man trying to be somebody. And I just stuck with that car, and I was determined, just straight up determined to figure out this car and make it fast as I could. I mean, it doesn't mean have to make 1,000 horsepower, but fast where it was respectable power. And that push and drive also helped me in my walk with Christ as well. So all the times I failed in Christ and walking with Christ, I always remember that Corolla, and it also helped me to keep continuing battling my sins and stuff. But anyhow, guys, thanks for listening to a little short story. Now you know a little backstory of the Corolla and why I drove it and what made me stick to that car. And I thank you guys, the ones who reached out to me and said, you know, my videos have inspired and motivate you to continue. And I hope that it helps you continue to build your cars and also fuel you for your walk in Christ. Some of you out there are trying to have a walk with Christ as well. So use that to fuel your walk with Christ. God bless you all. Have a nice day.